I give y'all a good story. Coach Kidd, he was one of the coaches in Campo when I was in camp when I was a kid, like 15, 16 or whatever. So I did 9 months, 240. I maxed out on the 240. Uh, so end up, Coach Kidd, this is really because this kind of has a relation with when I was earlier at that club where baby Mike had busted the windows out the boy's car and all that, right? And I had to pay for it or whatever, or I had paid for it and he took care of me. So basically, that same club, right? I like to go there because we could shoot pool there. They had a little pool table there, so we would we always betting and stuff like that, messing around, right? So, like I said, I hadn't had my second son. I had him at 18, so it was before that. Rest in peace, Heavy Lee. He was there. I had just got out of camp. Matter of fact, so I'm with Heavy Lee. Heavy Lee, rest in peace. I'm gonna tell many stories about him too. That he was from Chicago. Good people, man. Good people. Love to have fun, man. My little first rap had him in it. My little first rap. I'd shoot. It was like since the age of 13, I had big dreams. Slinging rocks on my block with my deuce 6 shot. Spot was called the Magnet. In before dark, so I didn't get my ass kicked. At 14, I forgot. Got my first sack from Heavy Lee, rest in peace. Wore nothing but Rolexes and Armanis. And it was arcade, but I didn't get my first sack from him. I got my first quarter. Like I was just dubbing. Like when I was like from 13 to 15, like 13, something like that. Like just dubs, because you could buy 50 dubs, 100 dubs, and they double where you can double your money or whatever, however. So, but like Heavy Lee, he would have, he was playing with them. He was like the first one I seen down in Mission Valley and stuff, and I could go swimming and all that, chill out, go to his house. You know what I mean? So that's where I actually met BJ, from the 60s. Because he had a cousin that was roommates with Heavy Lee. But Heavy Lee, he was in the military. But he knew all the police and all that stuff, right? They all Corleone in it, basically. They snorting that stuff. So we at the club, right? You see him, he Rolex, Rolex chain or whatever, nice suit on or silk suit or, some fresh loafers or something, you know what I mean? Like a grown man. So basically, him, Heavy Lee and Big Bud, uh, rest in peace. He ended up getting crashing coming from the bowling alley at College Grove. Something happened where he crashed, but they always stayed faded and snorting that stuff and everything. But when I met him, I thought he was a Charger. They told me he was a Charger. He was a big dude, right? Big black dude, and I don't know if him and Debbie Mack was together at that time. I got many stories about Debbie too. And You know, she had the furniture store and different stuff. She had the condo and stuff out there. And Bonita, she bought one of them barbecue grills from me, you know, that I used to sell when I was working at the barbecue galores, you know, the Australian made grills and all that. So, you know, she knew all the ballers and all that too. And actually, she has one of her babies is by California Mike. You know, I'm gonna tell you some stories about that because California Mike, he always had exotic cars and all that, right? But he back then he had the white Jag with the gold. He had the Ferrari kit on the Jaguar. You know what I mean? But so going back to that club, you know, we at the club and we shooting pool or whatever, you know. We just shooting pool and stuff. I'm fresh out of camp. And I already know Coach Kidd had knew, you know, Lee, because sometimes he would come over or different stuff like that and everything like that, right? So, you know, he did his little thing, you know, he snotted. He Corleone, you know what I mean? All of them, man. All of them are Corleone. So, end up, he comes in and see me shooting pool, right? This is like a 21 and up club, you know, and it's one of the populous clubs in San Diego at this time or whatever, right? But my folks, he know all the clubs. Back then he had the Gold Vet, you know what I mean? We in the Gold Vet, you know, I ride with him to go out there. We go to the club or whatever. So, end up, we shooting pool. Coach Kidd walk in, you know what I mean? He like, man, what you doing in here, man? You know what I mean? I have to call them folks on you or something. I don't know what he had actually said, right? My boy Heavy Lee like, man, you don't cut it out. Man, that's my little nephew, man. You know what I mean? Kind of put him in his place or whatever, right? You know, so just to let him know, you know, leave him alone. You know, he ain't doing nothing. He cool. He's straight. You know what I mean? So, you know, he was kind of hot about it, right? I ended up seeing Coach Kidd, and he ended up being in the county jail too. He ended up being a sheriff. Because back then, I guess that's probation or whatever. But he ended up being a sheriff too, you know. And I would see him down there. He ended up, I think he was pretty high up too up in there. So, yeah, man. So we ended up still just shooting pool and everything was cool, you know what I mean? You know, and everybody was laughing, joking, and having fun and enjoying ourselves, you know. But I forgot the name of the club around the corner from Midway. Actually, where the fire department or the Home Depot is, right there used to be a nightclub. And they tore the whole building down. But but it had changed names a few different times, you know. But yeah, that's one of my stories with Coach Kidd, man. And Heavy Lee, rest in peace, you know what I mean? He got killed on Imperial at Saks, little club, you know. I guess somebody beeped him. He went outside to use the payphone or something to call, and you know, that's when they had the beepers and the pagers, you know, and they hit him, you know. I'm like, man, it hurt my heart, man. They left my boy in the street for a long time too, man. I was hot about that. I heard about it. I went down there. He was actually married to Farrakhan's niece. You know, when he got killed, Farrakhan's niece went back and lived with Farrakhan, him and baby Lee. Little Lee. The son, he was a little boy then, when he got killed. But he had got killed like maybe a year after that, was at the club. But I already was like would be with him and hang with him and stuff from like when I was like young, but I never actually, got no work or nothing from him probably until I was like 15. He'll let me, take his 300Z, his wife's car, whatever, you know what I mean? He had the newer 300Z back then, burgundy or something. Hey, I was thinking about how the heck I used to get around all them places sometimes when I was telling you about the ages of 13, 14. But it was crazy. We had cars in our neighborhood. We shouldn't have been driving them, but man, we would have cars all lined up in our neighborhood, hot models, just to drive. And they would already, they done already gutted them out, like them MR2s and RX7s and stuff back then. That was like a big thing, them MR2s. I seen one the other day, and I was like, the MR2, I forgot all about that. But, yeah, man, so ended up, we would dry those, man, and put like milk crates in them and drive them, because they would already had took the seats out of them and everything. They was fast though, you get around, but I probably know every back street in the city, man, because I wasn't never old enough to drive for a long time, so yeah, man. I was laughing the other day when I was talking about Bates and different places like Streamview, because that Bates is by Streamview, and that was pretty rough over there too, as far as, it was pretty infested with drugs, I mean, people getting quarrels every now and then and stuff happening or whatever, but overall, people getting money, you know what I mean? They all getting dough, But yeah, man, Coach Kid, man, if you see this, man, reach out. But yeah, man, that was a trip. He was like, I wasn't supposed to be in that club. You know what I mean? I could get in all them clubs, like with my folks and stuff. But when I was there with baby Mike and all that stuff happened, I was by myself that day. But by that time, I was already having rental cars, and I wasn't even probably, when I got out 17, I had rentals, and I had my '63 Impala, but really I didn't drive. I just drive a rental car every day, and handle my little business or whatever. I was too deep at the time, I'm checking 1,000 a night, I'm getting 500 a piece, you know what I mean? I ain't really, you know what I mean? But I should have been getting that. It depends though. It would all depend, but it was different things going on in life. They had kids, and so we get out from nighttime. You know what I mean? It was crazy. But it was really she was older than me. She was my, girlfriend before I went to camp. You know, that was my little honey. But like I said, I moved to LA and all that, but it was still my little honey, right? And where she lived was where I would grind anyway. I could go out there, go sell my little rocks or whatever, you know what I mean? Serve the community. So, basically that ended up happening, and just it was some good times though. Heavy Lee, he always gonna, he want to go to all the restaurants, or he gonna have some big big meals at his house, have some honeys come over and cook or whatever. He would have fun. He had fun, man. He would have a lot of fun, man. You know. But all them dudes, Corleone, they snorting that snout all day long. That's what they do, But they getting money though, you know what I mean? But man, I remember this fool in the Corvette. I'm gonna tell you that story, man. He driving the Corvette. You really don't want to ride with him. You know what I mean? He's crazy, man. I'm gonna tell you about in the Corvette. He was good peoples though, man. Like, share, subscribe, man. You know what I mean? Golly.